Hey, good Sam. It's Pastor Bud here with your reset for today. This week, we're going to look at passages that have to do with as we open up in this COVID era. As we start opening up our facility to ministry, as we start opening up to who we are and what we do, I want us to dwell and think about and meditate upon these verses. The first one I have for you is out of Hebrews 10. It starts in verse 24. It actually starts before then, but I want to start in verse 24, and it says, "And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." We need to remember something about this text. First of all, it's in the book of Hebrews. It's a letter to Christians, Jewish believers who became Christians in Rome. And at the time, they're starting to face persecution. They're actually being expelled from Rome and they have to live outside the city. Christians are facing a lot of weighing persecution from the Roman government. And so the author of Hebrews is encouraging that group not to give up on their faith. Throughout the whole book, they talk about how Jesus is more important and more sufficient than any other part of faith that they ever had. And in this section, he says, let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds, not giving up on meeting together. What the author is saying is, let's encourage one another. Let's hold one another accountable. Let's hold one another accountable in our pursuit of love and good deeds. And you could only do that in the first century by meeting together. You could only do that if you gathered as a group and talked about these things. But you see, nowadays, we have technology. We could still do this. We could consider how we could spur one another on towards love and good deeds without a weekly worship service. Because we have telephones, we have Zoom, we have online other connections through Messenger and texting and phone calls and all of those things that encourage us to connect with one another. So the first thing I want to encourage you to do before we meet together, before we even get back together in the same facility, is let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds. It's been happening. We've had it with our shoppers. We've had it with our phone callers. We've had it with food pantry. I've heard stories of people calling up and buying food and meeting with others with plenty of distance in our church. Because that's the goal, is how do we challenge and spur one another on towards love and good deeds. Have a wonderful day as you meditate on those verses.